Today I'm going to show you how to draw the frosting of a cupcake. If you'd rather watch the non-narrated version, I'll have a card pop up for that. This drawing was done completely with Prismacolor pencils. The colors I used for the frosting were poppy red, blush pink, pink, 90% warm gray, crimson lake, pink rose, and white. I started with the poppy red and mapped out the darker parts, showing the difference in the levels of the frosting. Then I filled in the whole of the frosting with blush pink, only leaving the whitest areas blank. I put extra layers on the areas that were going to be darker. You want to make sure that you're drawing the appropriate shadows that are caused by each layer of frosting. That way it'll look like it's stacking on top of itself. Then I filled in the mid shadows with the pink.
Yes.
I used the 90% warm gray for the little spots that were actually really holes in the frosting. And I layered again with the blush pink to get a little bit more color. Then I used the crimson lake in the creases for the darkest shadows. You don't want to use black here, it's better to use a darker version of the color that you're drawing. If you use something like black or even a dark gray or brown, it'll look too dark. That part of the frosting is still pink, it's just highly shadowed, so you don't want to use black. It'll look way too dark and it just won't look natural. I used the poppy red to darken some of the mid shadows, and to add a bit of an orange tone to dull down some of the pink. Then I went back and did a layer of pink on almost all of the areas. I only left the areas that were going to be the lightest blank. Then I blended everything out but the absolute brightest whites with the blush pink. At this point I still wasn't applying a lot of pressure, but a little bit more just to get them blending a little bit better. I went over some of the darker kind of mid shadow areas with the pink rose. I wanted to use that color in the shadows because it dulled down the brightness of the pink just a little bit.
Yes.
And then I just continued this layering with the pinks and the reds to build up the shadows, and I used the white to give better highlights. And I just kept layering like this until I had the contrast that I was looking for. And then I ended with burnishing. I used the blush pink and the white to do the burnishing, and then I glazed in some of the darker areas with the Crimson Lake just to make sure that they stayed dark enough. I did the blush pink first, and then I went back with the white to make sure that those highlights really popped. And then for the sprinkles, I just kind of chose some random bright colors. You really can just pick whatever colors you want for the sprinkles. The most important thing is to make sure that you have a highlight and a shadow for each sprinkle. So when you choose the color that you want your sprinkle to be, choose a lighter color in that same family and a darker color in that same family so that you can have the highlight and the shadow on each sprinkle to show that it's actually a rounded thing and not just kind of a smudge on the frosting. For the white sprinkles, I used my eraser and then also the touch-up texture with the titanium white powder. If you don't have the touch-up texture, then you can just leave a spot blank from the beginning so that you can have a white sprinkle, or just don't use white sprinkles. You also want to make sure that you put a little bit of a shadow on the frosting itself around the sprinkle. Even though it's really small, each sprinkle is going to cause a little bit of a shadow on the frosting itself. So I just used the Crimson Lake to do a tiny bit of shadow underneath each sprinkle, and that really made them kind of pop out and look a lot more realistic. I hope this tutorial on frosting was helpful. I'm going to do another video that has the cake and paper parts of the cupcake, and once that's done, I'll have a link to it in the video description. I will also put the colors down in the video description in case you didn't catch them in the beginning. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials. Bye guys!